back in 2009. Fox golf reporter Robert Lusetich joining us here on the Rich Eisen Show. Robert, appreciate it. Give you the floor and what you think is happening with Tiger Woods right now, based on you.
Well, hey, Rich, thanks for having me on. But before we get to that, I want to know who falls asleep mid-tweet. It's 140 characters, man. I mean, how do you fall asleep in the middle of a tweet there, old Prez?
Are you went straight up the political flagpole right there.
Well, I mean, I was also going to ask you, did that guy really put that catfish in his pants? Because that
Robert,
caught my eye, that story.
I do believe he did that, and I do believe he literally broke the back of the fish to make sure that it was pliable enough to have happened. But you never know.
An amazing story.
No, what do you think is going on with Tiger in all seriousness, Robert?
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, this is, and I think we have gotten to the point with Tiger where he doesn't need any more lawyers. He doesn't need any more yes men around him and enablers. He needs some people to give him some hard truths, and people who care about him, and he needs to listen to them, because I look at this incident as a cry for help. In the same way, in a lot of ways, that I looked at the 2009 incident with Thanksgiving, where he backed up the Escalade into the fire hydrant. I looked at that as a cry for help too, but it didn't become that, because it was he was surrounded by PR men and all kinds of advisors who told him to go hide under a rock and we'll try and get you out of this. I don't think he needs to be gotten out of anything else. No more free passes. I think that we knew that in 2009, one of the drugs that he was taking, because his wife told the police, he was taking Ambien and Vicodin. He'd also been drinking. In this instance, he wasn't drinking, but there is Vicodin again. And I think this is one of America's sort of dirty hidden secrets, is opioid addiction. People are trying to manage pain, and doctors are very, very willing to write you prescriptions for a drug like Vicodin, which is a very, very, I think, dangerous drug, in the sense that it's addictive. Listen, I don't know about you, Rich, but at 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm not in that condition thinking to myself, what would be a good idea right now? Get into the car and drive somewhere.
And that was the first thing I thought of. But then again, in your book, you talk about Tiger battling insomnia, and that is something that he's always been battling. And is that what he said? He told the police in one of the lines of the police report that he likes to go out for a ride, is what he said. What do you make of that, Robert?
Well, I mean, look, he does have insomnia, and he has had it pretty much his whole life. I mean, he's a guy that's operated on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. But let's not forget, I mean, until recently, until the last, let's just say, 7 or 8 years, that did not involve driving around in impaired. That was he lived his life that way, and he was just one of these guys. And there are other people out there who I think brilliant people who have said that they go to sleep at 2 o'clock and they wake up at 6 a.m. every day, and that's what maybe things have changed. I think obviously he's had a lot of injuries, a lot of surgeries. And that may have also changed, because now we do introduce pain into the equation. So it's not just about not being able to sleep, but it's being in pain. And certainly spinal fusion is no joke. I mean, this was he's had a surgery that is pretty much the end of the road. There will be no more surgical solutions for Tiger Woods if he cannot play golf after this surgery and he can't recover from this. So there's a lot of things that are going on. It's as always with Tiger. It's sort of this perfect storm of events, and certainly the narrative that we all thought. I mean, I was there at Torrey Pines in 2008, where he won his 14th major on one leg, and I personally thought it might have been the greatest thing I've ever witnessed. And I've seen a lot of things in sports, but who would have dreamed of the way that this story has turned since 2008? It's just mind-boggling.
Fox Sports golf reporter and author who's written a book on Tiger Woods from 2009, Robert Lusetich, joining me here. So when you saw the mugshot and you heard about the arrest, did you say, I'm surprised, based on the fact that he was talking about how pain-free he was and how well he was feeling? Or were you not surprised based on what you had learned about Tiger about that 09 season, Robert?
Well, I'm not surprised because I think that he has been. I mean, the irony of this is that this is a guy who made his bones by being in control. Probably the most controlled athlete I've ever seen, and he's not in control, and he hasn't been in control for a long time. And this is just, again, it's a cry for help. I look at this and I say, this is basically what Tiger Woods has become, and I don't believe that it's an isolated incident. But having said that, when I looked at that mugshot, I was like many. I was just frankly overcome with sadness. It has been sad. This is a man who's, I used to say to him in the early 2000s, like, how much better can you get? What else can you do? And he would always reply with, why do you always ask me that? And I would say, because I don't know what the outer limits are yet. I have no idea. Like, what the things that you can achieve, it seems like there are no bounds. They're otherworldly, and he became human, and the human condition just suddenly it was like a freight train just hit him, and so I think there's just sadness. I think for like a lot of people that this at the age of 41. I mean, he's not 51 or 61 or 71. He's 41. That is still relatively prime time for a golfer. But obviously a very old and sad 41.
Well, I mean, the mugshot is going to be surpassed, one would think, by the police video that is soon to be expected to be released, to be put out there. Then that might be the new rock bottom. And in that regard, who are the people around Tiger right now, Robert, that you think could be a truth teller and or somebody in his life that can make him turn this ship around? Because we are in a position here, as you point out, where the back surgery may or most likely isn't going to put him back out there at a competitive level that we're used to seeing Tiger Woods at anymore. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about how we're going to remember Tiger Woods. And the question is who around him right now is going to tell him what time it is, do you think?
Well, I mean, look, here's always been the problem with Tiger is that he's very suspicious of the motives of anybody that wants to get close to him. And in a sense, I can understand that because there were people clamoring to get a piece of him since he was a boy. And I think he has always been uncomfortable with that. And he is suspicious of motives. But the other part of Tiger is the stubbornness that made him think that he could win 7 out of 11 majors, that he could win 4 in a row, that he could be number one for years and years and years. That stubbornness, you need to have a real stubbornness to be able to do that against all the odds. And his cut streak is ridiculous. The fact that he never took a week off is just ridiculous. He was there, and he was thereabouts just about every week. He made the cut. That level of stubbornness is what I think, unfortunately, is part of his undoing now, because he is the captain of his own ship. I know, his agent, Mark Steinberg, is a lot of people blame him for Tiger. That's, Steinberg is just another servant. He is another employee. Tiger captains the ship, and whatever course it takes because he wants it to go there. And the thing with Tiger is that if you keep telling him things he doesn't want to hear, eventually one day you're out. So he's very, very brutal when it comes to just cutting people out of his life. And it's happened. We've seen it with coaches. It happened with Steve Williams, his caddy, Hughes Norton, his agent. There's a lot of people who are no longer in Tiger's life because Tiger decided he didn't want to listen to what they had to say. So I think if there's one guy, it would be Notah Begay. Notah Begay, he's known since they were junior golfers. Notah also coming up as a minority golfer. I think Tiger respects Notah. Notah's a good guy. And Notah, I know, has Tiger's best interests at heart. But I also know that, Notah understands the way to get to Tiger isn't to try to bully him into anything or tell him this is what you must do, but, present things and hope that he, looks at them and understands. I mean, my personal view is that he doesn't need any more yes men around him. It's an echo chamber around Tiger Woods. But, I would hope that he goes to rehab and for real, goes to rehab. If there is a problem with pills, get himself off these pills, because he's never coming back. Even if he does come back, if he's still got this hidden little problem, he's never going to be any kind of a golfer because it's just too difficult. Golf is too demanding spiritually and psychologically as it is if you don't have a clear mind. And, David Ferrity likes to use the term slamming doors in your head. And it's like if you've got a lot of those, it's very, very hard to play good golf.
Robert, thanks for the time. Appreciate it. We'll chat again soon.
You got it, Rich.
Appreciate it. You got it. That's Robert Lusetich of FOX Sports.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.